Hello everyone, quick and easy tutorials here today to show you how to get an EIN for your new business. So first thing to note, don't pay somebody to get an EIN for you. It takes a couple of minutes. It's free, it's fast, it's easy. Use the irs.gov website. Do it yourself directly. Unless you have any major questions where you need to speak to an attorney or an accountant, you should be able to do this on your own. All right, so first things first, irs.gov/EIN is the site. Now, make sure you read this site. There's a lot of very important information on it, such as when you can apply. The availability is limited, especially during the weekend, especially on Sundays. You can only apply for one EIN per responsible party per day. So say you're a sole proprietor and you're applying for your own EIN, you can't later apply for an EIN for an LLC that you have on the same day. You have to wait. And then there's also important information about FinCEN, which is, the Treasury's Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, basically like money laundering and sanctions, that kind of thing. So if that's something that might apply to you, maybe you have beneficial owners that live in another country, something like that, read this. It will have important information. I'm not going to advise you on that right now. So after you've read all of this, let's get started. Press this button, apply for an EIN. Continue on down here. Okay, so this is really important as the first question. What type of legal structure is applying for an EIN? If you're just starting a business in your own name, it's most likely going to be sole proprietor. A lot of people also start LLCs, but there are all these different types. Just make sure you pick the right one because the application adapts based on what you input. So if I put sole proprietor, see for example, it will expand this to include a subsection. Am I a sole proprietor or a household employer? So a household employer might be someone that is, for example, hiring a full-time nanny as an employee for their kids, and they need to pay them properly through documented tax paperwork. So they would apply for a household employer EIN. So for this example, I'm just going to continue as a sole proprietor to say that I started a new business, but you can pick any of these reasons. Next, you're going to get to this page, which is going to be similar for each of the entity types that you choose. For sole proprietor, for example, is asking for my personal tax information. If you're setting up an LLC, it's going to have a similar request. LLCs can be owned by other companies or individuals. Usually, if it's just you and you're setting up something simple, it's going to be your social security number. Now, important note here is that you need this information to match exactly what the records are for the IRS. So if I put in my social security number and then make up a fake name, it's not going to work. It's going to reject my EIN application immediately. It's going to check as soon as you press this continue button. So make sure you input the information correctly. So I'm going to go ahead and input my information, and then I'm going to click continue, and I'm going to pause the screen while I do that. After inputting your tax information and verifying your identity, you're going to move on to the next tab, which in all likelihood is going to be the addresses tab. So you're just going to want to put in your address for your business. So if you're just working from home, put in your home address. If you have a different business location, put that in. And then just answer these questions as you see fit. And then click continue to move on to the next page. The page that we're going to get to is the additional details page. So I scrolled down a bit because at the top of the page it shows my name that I put in for my social security number before. So we skipped past that. But scrolling right down, you can put in a trade name. So like a doing business as, like say Sally Seashells, something like that. I don't know. And then you want to put in your county where you're located. That says county, not country. And then your state, when you started as a sole proprietor in this business. And then just answer these questions honestly. And then the next page you're going to get to is really just a review. And then you're going to click confirm. I'm not going to continue on with that because I'm not actually applying for an EIN number right now. And then you should be granted your EIN right away. Make sure that whatever document they give you, either with the EIN confirmation or saying that you need to mail something, which sometimes happens depending on the information that you input, make sure that you save that information. You're going to need your EIN number. You're going to need it handy. You're going to need it to open a bank account, to pay people, to do a million other small business type things. It's basically the equivalent of a business's social security number, if you think of it that way. It's a tax number. You're going to need it. Don't lose it. If you lose it, it's going to be really difficult to find. You're going to have to either check in with a bank that you've given that information to when you were setting up a bank account, if you've been lucky enough to have already done that, or you might have to reach out to local and state licensing authorities or call the IRS directly. Basically, there's no easy way of finding what your EIN is if you lose it. That's not going to be a hassle for you. It's not like you can just go to a website and type your name in and find it. Anyway, that's it. I hope that's been helpful. Thank you for watching. If there are any other topics that you guys would like us to cover on this channel, please let us know. Thanks.